conspiracy theories, the paranormal, UFOs, aliens, and all things strange and unusual. This is Black Lotus. Hey there, welcome to Black Lotus, where we talk about all things strange and unusual. And today we're going to be talking about the mysterious JANET Airlines. But before we get to that, I want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe to our videos here. If this is your first time here, check out our other videos. I think you're really going to dig them. Also want to remind everybody that we have a podcast over at Podbean, and it's a little different from what we do here. What we do is we report the latest in paranormal news, and we talk to some fascinating people in the paranormal world. One more thing, we have a group over at Facebook called the Black Lotus Discussion Group, and we discuss all the things that we talk about here, all the UFOs, cryptids, and conspiracy theories and what have you. And we also have some experts there, and so it's a great bunch of people, and so definitely check them out. But anyway, let's get into this today. Let's talk about JANET Airlines and
the mysteriousness of it.
The mysteriousness of it. I mean, I don't think that there is another organization out there in the world that is so mysterious, yet it's hiding in plain sight.
Oh yeah.
Here in Las Vegas, where we live, we have the JANET Airlines fly over the house here
several times a day.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 times a day. And but anyway, you probably already know what JANET Airlines is, but if not, let me explain what the purpose is. The purpose is to pick up employees that work at places like Nellis Air Force Base, Groom Lake, Area 51, and that sort of thing. And they transport them in the afternoon to these places, or in the morning to these places, and then in the afternoon they bring them back home. Now I've heard though that there are overnight facilities at these places, and so oftentimes what happens is they work on 24-hour shifts,
right? And
so they actually won't go home until the next day. The pilots, however, do. But there's very little known about the organization. It's operated for the U.S. Air Force by infrastructure and defense contractor ACOM through ACOM's acquisition in 2014 of the URS Corporation. And the funny thing about this is that a lot of people think that JANET is an acronym for just another non-existent terminal.
Yeah, but it's not.
And some people also say that it is stands for Joint Air Network for Employee Transportation, which I see most probably that's what it would be. However, according to the Nevada Aerospace Hall of Fame, JANET, I guess, was a real person, and it actually originated on a whim from a former Area 51 commander, Richard A. Sampson, who commented the base, who commanded the base from 1969 through 1971. And he eventually picked up his wife's name to identify the commuter planes that ferried the workers from Las Vegas, and I guess it's been just commonly known as JANET ever since then. But yeah, evidently that's the real reason. But anyway, Ralph, what do you have on this?
Well, I found it interesting, first of all, that if you notice, the JANET Airlines has no logo on it or anything like that. It only has its call number that has to be on there and a red stripe.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And there's supposedly the windows are blocked out.
Yeah. I went to a hairstylist once, and he was telling me that he had formerly worked at Area 51. Now, whether he did or not is anybody's guess. Take it with a grain of salt. But he did confirm that the windows are blacked out because, you're on a need-to-know basis there.
Right, and who knows what is out there in the parking lot.
So, exactly. I mean, you land, you get off, you go to your destination, you don't ask questions. That's basically the way it is. And generally, people who do work at these places aren't willing, and they certainly don't talk about this stuff.
Oh, right.
Because that's
They're
your ass.
sworn to secrecy.
But anyway, it's Janet has a fleet of 11 airplanes, and a lot of people think that they just go out to Area 51. Well, that's not the case at all. There's like I want to say there's 15 destinations in all, and I mean just a few of them here I'll mention is the Tonopah Test Range, Groom Lake, Area 51, S4, Edwards Air Force Base, Palmdale Regional Airport in California, and Oxnard, California at Point Mugu. And as well as Nellis Air Force Base here, that's right next to Area 51, pretty much, But the interesting thing about that is that all of these destinations are known to be UFO hotspots
and secret areas.
Sure, yeah, but kind of an interesting case with this. I would love to be a fly on the wall in one of these airplanes, because every time they fly past, I'm like, who's up there? What do they know?
Right. What do they know? That's the big question.
And I'm sure a lot of the employees that they're transporting are people like janitors who wouldn't know much of anything that's going on there. They're just there to do their job, But, for certain, there's a lot of top secret personnel, yeah. And in order to even fly for the airline, you have to pass a top secret background check that is almost impossible to pass, I guess.
Well, yeah, I heard that it was very hard to pass that. I would imagine because they're going to see a good look at just about anything that you have out. Mm-hmm. They can see the hangars. They can see into the hangars if the doors are open. They can see anything that's parked around. Yeah, I can see why they'd have to have eye clearance.
Most certainly. My God. And really would be kind of a dream job for a pilot because they get to go home every night. They're not in some weird they are in weird destinations, but far off destinations, where they can't go home every night, and I think that would be a great job for a pilot.
Quick flights in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of pilots, there was one accident recorded. Janet began in 1972, and in all of its 48 years of operation, they've only had one accident. And
that's a pretty good record.
And the only reason it happened is because during the approach to Tonopah testing range, the pilot reported the runway in sight and entered a circle pattern, and he dropped dead immediately of cardiac arrest. And I guess it went nose down and it crashed before it even got to the Tonopah test range. But as far as I have been able to research, nobody else died on the plane in the plane crash, but him. But yeah, so quite unfortunate. But it did burst into flames, I guess. So, but how anybody would have survived that, I'm not quite certain. But yeah. But it was later revealed that he had high blood pressure and he never reported it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, I wonder how that affected his benefits for his family, So, yeah.
This government's hard to say.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, anything else on this?
Nah.
Yeah, there isn't really a whole lot to talk about.
I would say it's a secret airline. All we know is that what we basically talked about is about all the information that's out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Once again, don't forget that we have that podcast, and I will drop a link for that in the description in the bottom, and also drop a link for our Facebook group. So, and again, if you're into this stuff, you definitely want to join that group. We've got a great bunch of people
that group
there.
Is great,
and no trolls. That's one of the nicest things about it. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. And again, until next time, keep thinking and question everything.